Just a hushed word of warning here. I have turned up the volume a bit on my recordings, so have your hand near your volume knob if you need to. I'm going to start speaking in a more normal voice as I go along here. Basically, I set my volume level to about what most YouTubers have set their volume level to, and I'll go into that more once I get underway, because who cares about that, really? I mean, I do, but most of you probably don't. And there's no reason you should. So basically, I'm here to do team battle. And 8 on 8, of course, and you can hit, is it select or start? Let's try select. That was not it. Let's try start. No, okay, but now now I can hit select? No. Select backs you up. That's interesting. Okay, now I can hit start? Yes, start. Start gives you it varies. They change it later. Maybe they change it in 6? I forget. Anyway. It gives you a full random teams.
Come on, baby. Show me what you got.
Now, as you might have noticed on the, as I forgot to point out, there are 3 characters I purposefully did not unlock. Well, 2 I purposefully did not unlock, and 1 that I could not unlock without also unlocking one of the characters I didn't want, so I left him. Also, I kind of half didn't want him. The one I kind of half didn't want was Heihachi. Heihachi, see, this mode also does random costumes when you do a random team, and one of Heihachi's costumes is his giant adult diaper that he wears in the finals when you face him in story battle, and that costume should not be seen, so I don't want that. But really, I didn't unlock him because to get him, I would have had to unlock. Was it Combot or the Bears? Maybe it was the Bears. I think Combot is the last one who unlocks. But I decided, since we're already in this Tekken 4 mode of more realistic, quote-unquote, combat, I would just go for a setup that did not have any of the quote-unquote silly characters, and the Bears are kind of silly, so I didn't want to unlock them, and I didn't want to unlock Combot because I hate fighting with the training characters where you have a different random fighting style each round. That's annoying to me. Another thing that I'm really noticing now, I've been playing a lot of Tekken 5 and some Tekken 6, and what you really notice coming back to 4 here, aside from the it's much harder to juggle and all this sort of thing. Oh, that was really weird. I just exploded through his head. What is going on? There's no collision detection for King's upper torso when it comes to jumping or something. Well, let's see if we can shatter this glass. No, I couldn't. And, yeah, there's the left throw is replaced by the weird shove mechanic. Aw, dang it. So, wait a second. Well, there's a throw that I learned later for King. I think in Tekken 5, it's like Wolf Hawkfield's big old just grab him by the ankles and spin him around and fling him throw in Virtua Fighter. I think it's just a half circle forward motion, and in later Tekkens, it's left punch with a half circle forward motion, I think. So I guess you could still have that. I was thinking if they took away left throws in this, he wouldn't have that, but it's not left punch and left kick for King, it's just left punch, which is partly why I like it so much. So that should still work, you would think.
You win.
Yeah, this game's pretty cool. But yeah, look at the much more realistic characters. They're not super like Hulk, like roided out like they kind of are in Tekken 5 and 6, and then of course maybe even a little more so in 7. 5 and 6. 5 remade the character models. 6 used the same models as 5. And then Tekken Tag Tournament remodeled the characters again. And 7 uses the same models that they developed for Tekken Tag Tournament 2, I should say. But 4 had its own models that were not used again, and they were not used previously. They were developed for 4. And these characters are more slender. Now it's interesting because Marduk in 5 is this huge. I mean, he's huge and hulking here, but in 5 and 6, he's even more buffed out, of course, and he's just massive. In 6, or in 7, and Tag Tournament 2, I suppose, he's actually maybe more like he is here in 4, sort of. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that, because actually they got his proportions pretty weird in 7 and Tag 2. They're just, I won't go into it. I've gone into it in previous. It doesn't matter. Anyway, see here he's got this stance where his head is sort of thrust forward. And his shoulders are much wider than his waist, but that's even more so in 5 where he's just got more deltoid, larger delts and everything, you know. But he kind of loses that forward head thrust stance in Tag 2 and 6. There's Tag 2 and 7. God, I can't even get my name straight. And he just adopts a much more generic posture, which is kind of too bad.
Final round.
Okay, I haven't really been paying attention to this fight. How am I doing? I mean, this team battle. I guess I'm... Wait. Is that me? I always forget how the scoring thing works. Is it good to have the more things on my... I think they changed it later. Maybe that's what it was. When I was trying to play team battle in 5, I was getting really confused. Okay, here it's definitely good to have the glowy things on my side. Under the health bar. Because I got one for taking out Brian here. I meant to check what difficulty level I have this on. It should be on medium, the default. Oh yeah, and one of Marduk's 2 costumes in this is he's got hair. This is the first one, yeah. This is the first one Marduk appeared in, and half the time he has hair. This huge mop of hair. I love the Fight Club stage. Now, I've learned since I did some of my first Tekken 4 plays that the physics that allow you to, well, collide with things, I guess, like pillars and so forth. There was also a bug with it, which I ran into a few times where you can, if you hit somebody into stuff right, you can just hit them over and over into it because it kind of staggers them off balance or something. And you can just keep hitting them until they're dead. And I got that a few times. I didn't really know what it was, but it was like, oh, I can keep hitting this guy. Just a few times on my various playthroughs and stuff. I got it once in that stage. I forget who with. And I think once here maybe against one of these pillars. You can actually break a lot of the pillars though, and I think you can break the pillars here. Now notice how Paul, if you've seen the later Tekken games, notice how much slimmer Paul is in this. I mean, he's still a big dude. But he's almost, you know, not super hulked out. If you saw him just in a t-shirt or something in the mall, as we are in a mall right now, you'd think, oh, that's a pretty buff guy, but he's not, like, totally out of control. Muscular. In fact, his biceps, for instance, aren't really very large by, like, weightlifter standards or anything. Oh, that's an awkward camera. Ooh, ow, dang it. Oh no. Oh, I don't know what I was doing there. Ah, I got croaked. I got croaked bad. Of course, Jin got his hoodie in this game, which makes him much tougher.
Final round. Fight.
I forgot about Nina's catsuit in this game. It's good in 5, but it's a slightly different style. Probably a little more refined than this one is, but this one's still pretty good. Okay, you're going down, Jin. Yeah! One thing that I don't think later Tekkens have, did you see the butt jiggle? At least some of the characters, including Nina, have some physics on their rear ends. So you don't see that too much. Now, Hwoarang, check out Hwoarang. Check out that dude. Hwoarang looks really good in this game. I think he looks better. I think this model of Hwoarang looks better than his Tekken 5 and 6 model. It's just a much more natural looking guy. In 5 and 6, his proportions and his figure are just a little unnatural looking. Some of the characters, the worst one, the one that pops out the most for me is, how do you pronounce his name? Peck? Hwoarang's teacher, actually. Peck, or it's spelled B-A-E-K. But I guess the closest American pronunciation gets is Peck, rather than Bayek or something. But Hwoarang looks really good in this. Just, yeah, I think they did a good job. So that went well, even though I was not paying attention. I also think this is probably the easiest to read summary that I've seen in the series for team battle. It's just nice big color coding. These paths are really easy to see how things went. So my king actually did pretty well. Jin did fine. Marduk did okay. Kazi did okay. So I basically didn't totally choke with anybody. Although you can't really tell. Of course, it could be that Jin came in and he faced a king who was almost dead, and then, so you never really know. But as long as they lasted more than one fight, I figure they probably did all right. Okay, so let's do some more. You do have to reset the size each time, which is a little annoying. But I guess we'll survive. I just love this random team thing. And, I tried this. I thought I was going to do the same thing in Tekken 5. Play Tekken 5 the same way. So I went through this long process of not unlocking the locked characters in 5 because I didn't want to get the bears and the kangaroo and so forth, and the training golem. But well, unlike in 4, so in 4 the story battles are set up so that you can, if you play somebody whose story relates to another character's story, then you can unlock that other character directly by beating the game with the first character. Instead of going through the normal, there's also just characters just unlock in a certain fixed order if you're not playing the story battles or the arcade battles with certain characters. If you're just playing other characters, then you'll unlock just a fixed order of the locked characters. However, I found, and this wasn't really documented, so I tried sending the info to GameFAQs. I don't think they ended up wanting to use it because I guess they thought it was confusing, or I don't know, they didn't bother. I sent it to them twice. The second time they just kind of acknowledged it and then didn't do anything with it. But, so for instance, if you play Steve's story battle, it's been a little while, I think it was, for instance, if you play Steve's story battle, then, and beat that, then you will immediately unlock Nina Williams. Look at that. That looks just like Jackie Chan. They were super accurate with that portrait.
Fight.
You'll immediately unlock Nina, whereas otherwise Nina is like the third or fourth or something character to unlock. But again, if you beat Story Battle or Arcade Battle with Steve, then Nina unlocks immediately, and then you see Nina in Steve's story. They also fight on a special stage. I can't remember if it's in a Steve's or Nina's story. They fight on a special stage that is found nowhere else, and once you clear that stage where the two of them fight, you've unlocked that stage and you can use it in versus play and practice. I think it's just called the Statues stage. I have a video that shows it. It's kind of cool. It's got basically a classic Roman statue group in it. Oh no, it's Steve, I forgot. Steve's so weird, he doesn't have kicks. Just his kick buttons are these sways. But I'm better with Steve in 4 than I am in 5, because in 5, well, I did find out, I think it was, what's his name, that blasted Salami or whatever one of the major Tekken YouTubers is, just put up a video retrospective about 5. Oh, and he's got his Australian accent. Apparently Steve is super broken in 5, and he can do this infinite combo just by... It's like he sidesteps to his left, and then does like a kidney punch or 2, and then sidesteps again and does another kidney punch, and the opponent just keeps recoiling and staggering in the same way, and he can just keep catching them on that stagger if he keeps sidestepping, and they can't get out of it until they're KO'd. But they also apparently just made him much tougher in a lot of ways. And see, look how sort of skinny Steve's arms are here. He's actually, you might even say, like, even for normal boxer proportions, he's a little on the skinny side. Not really, though. Okay, I don't remember what to do with Brian at all. Oh, this is bad. Uh-oh. Jeez. So yeah, Steve's story shows Nina in it. I guess that's a spoiler. Sorry. It's not a huge one. And then Nina's story has Lei show up in it. And so if you beat Steve's story, it unlocks Nina. If you beat Nina's story, it unlocks Lei, because they show up in this. The other characters show up in these previous characters' a story battle, which is pretty neat. But the actual handy mechanical thing it does is it allows you to unlock certain characters you might want without having to unlock, for instance, the first character. Well, no, that's not true. But without having to unlock certain other characters you might not want, like the bears or something. And I spent all this time trying to find some character whose story battle I could do and unlock Heihachi without having to unlock the bears first. I was really not paying attention there, and Xiaoyu just made me pay. And I couldn't, so I did not unlock Heihachi. There was no character I could find who would shortcut to unlocking him and skip over the characters I didn't want.
Final round. Fight.
I love this version of Yoshimitsu. I mean, he's super weird looking all the time, but this version is kind of just brutal looking. And less confusing. He's much easier to see. Like in 5, one of his costumes has this giant, flat straw hat that makes his upper areas hard to see, and I don't know. I mean, there's one thing to make a character sort of weird looking, and see this one, this thicker version is harder to see than the skinnier version I have. He's just got like the rope belt and all that stuff, the big hair. I wish I knew how to do that move. I don't even know what that is. Yoshimitsu is one of the characters who's strongest for me in this, not knowing what the heck I'm doing, but just he's got a lot of strong moves that you can just find by hitting buttons, you know, by E-mashing. Oh, and that he spun around too many times and got himself dizzy, and I did not know how to counter, so I didn't take it. Oh, that was scary. Oh, this is so... Okay, I said he was one of my stronger characters, and I was totally flailing with him. So that was not impressive. In fact, I'm kind of flailing in general, but I have to sort of retrain myself for Tekken 4's foibles after playing a ton of 5 and some 6. Shoot. Now, Kazuya, I think, is still pretty darn strong in 4.
You win.
Okay, well, about the volume thing. So I had when I got a microphone and wanted to start doing commentary and stuff, I looked up, you know, what volume level do you shoot for when you're recording audio and all this stuff. Actually, I guess I looked this up when I first started uploading stuff to YouTube, but it got more complicated when I got a microphone. Anyway, what various sites say on the internet is that for audio engineering, like professional audio engineers, when, you know, they're making stuff that goes on television or recording professional sound recordings or whatever, they shoot for minus 10 decibels as sort of the peak noise. The loudest noise they want to have is 10 decibels below what a device can possibly put out. It's kind of confusing, but decibels are rated for recording. 0 decibels is the loudest. That's the absolute loudest sound a device can make. Anything above that will just not... It'll make this horrible... On some devices, it'll make just a horrible screeching sound or a popping sound, and it won't come out right. That's called clipping. So there's various things you do to avoid anything you record clipping, but just for getting general sound levels, sound engineers classically, I guess, have shot for something like minus 10 decibels is the loudest sound. And then a minus 20 decibels would be 10 decibels quieter, for instance. So yeah, Kazuya's strong. I didn't do as well with Yoshimitsu as I'd hoped. Jin is pretty strong, so I'm basically just doing well with the strong characters. That's pretty straightforward, I guess. More. See, it was weird. I tried... So after all that work unlocking or not unlocking in 5, I tried playing Team Battle in 5, random team battles like I'm doing here, and it just was... Something about it just did not click. It's not the battle system. I like the battle system in 5. It's fine. In fact, it might be my favorite. But something about Team Battle specifically was just not hitting the same spot of yummy goodness that 4's does for me. And I don't know why that is, really. And there's a lot of stuff about the battle system in 4, especially the difficulty in juggling, that was really troubling me when I was trying to play everybody's story battle.
Here we go.
Final round. Fight.
I kind of love this stage. Oh. Now, one thing I remember is Xiaoyu's left kick is really strong. Oh, unless Christy avoids it. Ah, jeez. Oh, God, I'm getting peppered. Sorry for the blasphemy there. We're taking the Lord's name in vain, I guess would be the more accurate way to put it. I don't know, I'm not really religious. Even though my dad was almost a Jesuit priest, but then he met my mom. and ended up not going away to join some Jesuit mission overseas as a novice or novitiate or whatever the heck. I don't know. Man, that is so Jackie Chan looking. It's creepy. See, the actual in-game model is not quite as on the Jackie Chan as that one is. This was also the first... 4 was the first appearance of Christie, who just supplanted poor Eddie Gordo, although he shows up in her story battle. In 5, you can get Eddie Gordo, but he doesn't even have his own character slot. You have to buy a costume for Christie. You have to spend 500,000 of the in-game money. You have to kind of grind for that money, and then you can buy the Eddie Gordo costume. And then so if you pick her with the button that picks his costume, which is I think is triangle in that game, then you get to play Eddie Gordo. And he does have his own story battle, except I just found this out. I just played his story battle, one of the last ones. Oh man, I got pulped. I think it was that blasted Salami who was saying Lei is not a strong character in this game, and I'll use that as an excuse. I love that sauntering walk of Paul's. In 5... Eddie, so he's in it if you get the special costume and wear it with Christie. I love Paul's long hair, but he has his own conversations a couple times during the fights on the way to the end, which is a cool feature 5 has that 4 does not have. 5 has from 1 to 3 fights, depending on the character, they will have a conversation before and after a battle with certain other characters, which is super cool. And it's voice acted and all that, and animated with the in-game character models. 4 doesn't have that, so it's a nice thing that 5 added to the story playthroughs. This is Paul's hobo outfit, which is part of his story. I love his squat wind pose. It's so bizarre for a big American to do that. Talking about too many things at once. Now I'm like 3 layers in on things I was talking about. I know I was talking about Eddie Gordo and where he appeared. Oh, so he's got his own conversations as he goes through. He's got his own hand-drawn intro for his story, but at the end, and this is a bit of a spoiler, but it's actually a not spoiler, because he doesn't even have his own end cinematic. His end cinematic plays, but it's just the same one you get for Christie. That is so lame. I mean, you spend 500,000 of the in-game currency, which is a lot, and you finally get to play Eddie Gordo, who of course just has Christie's moves, but you don't get a cinematic ending for him that's any different than Christie's. In fact, it's just the same one. So that was sad. I love that sauntering walk, and then he just sort of smacks his dangling bicep like it's a, I don't know, big sausage.
Final round.
So here's that hunky-looking Tekken 4 Hwoarang. Oh no! Don't beat Hobo Steve. Paul. I almost said Hobo Steve. I think I know why, because in 5 Dark Resurrection, Paul, you can get him a flat top. You can get him the long hair. I'm not sure it has physics like it does in 4, but you can also get him a really cool looking, what am I saying? Not flat top, crew cut. You can get him this really cool crew cut. He looks so, it's shocking to see him because he's so like clean cut looking, and he just looks like this, I don't know, just on the ball, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed young guy, like from the 50s or so. It's crazy how different it makes him look. And I was hoping they would have that in 6, but they don't. There's no crew cut for Paul in 6. And it's not in regular 5 either. It's only in Dark Resurrection as far as I know. But I was looking through other haircuts you can get in 6 for other characters, and Steve... Wow, I was just mashing punches. Oh, and I didn't completely unlock Lee here. This is Lee, but he's in disguise as Violet. So it's Lee just wearing a purple shirt and with sort of slightly purpley hair, which I just think is fun.
Final round. Fight.
It's part of Lee's story why he's in disguise. And I won't go into that. You can see my playthrough of him. I think, yeah, I have that. But I didn't keep my playthrough. I reverted back to before I beat his story battle because I wanted to keep him as Violet. Dang it. Marduk was just going nuts. But Steve has in 6, Steve has a ton of haircuts. He's got dreads, he's got all kinds of stuff in 6. So if you want some crazy male hairdos to play with, try Steve in Tekken 6.
Final round.
And something I mentioned earlier, I have super trouble with Steve in 5, even though he's got all these buffs for tons of his moves, and he's got the relatively easy to do infinite or something, and apparently he's just the strongest character in the game with all this stuff they gave him. But I have a lot of trouble with him because his down forward right punch uppercut, which is just his standard way to launch people for an easy combo. Oh, whoa, there was a huge launch. What the heck? I don't know what I did. Oh, maybe it was that. Was it a rising punch? Anyway, Steve's down forward right uppercut in 5 has a bug where if you hit the button again right after that, which I have this bad habit apparently of double tapping my inputs for attacks like that. Wow, I got wasted.
You lose.
Finished already? Please.
I know. Tell me about it, Nina. Well, this is getting a little close. Now, Law I had done pretty well with, so let's try to pay attention.
Fight.
And I totally forget again what I was just talking about because I'm worried about fighting Nina. Oh yeah, Paul's weird quirk in 5. It's actually a bug that gets fixed. I'm pretty sure it's not in Dark Resurrection. It's also definitely not in 6. But in 5, if you do Steve's down forward right punch uppercut to launch the opponent in the air, and then you hit the right punch button again, he'll punch again. There's no delay. You can punch immediately.
Fight.
There's no... every attack you do in a fighting game, normally there's some kind of number of frames before you can do another attack. Not so with that. You can do another uppercut immediately with Steve to the point where in 5... Well, no. To the point where it just looks bizarre. Like, he'll throw the second punch before the opponent has even hit the apex of, the launch that he just put them into. So he just sort of flails out with another punch. I don't think it's another uppercut, it's just another punch. I was not doing the right attacks, and now I'm behind. Because I was talking about Steve's silly punch in 5. So I have this bad habit that I've discovered by that bug of double tapping my uppercut.
Fight.
So I would just do his uppercut, and then I would miss the juggle because I would automatically have double tapped the uppercut, and I would just get this flailing second punch that wouldn't connect with anything because the opponent's already flying through the air. But it would break my chance to do a juggle on them. And so I had to sort of teach myself not to do that and to instead input a back right punch follow-up. Man, I'm getting torched by Brian. So I sort of managed that, but it's still irritating, and it's totally a bug they should have not let go into the final product. It's kind of shocking, actually. So actually, if I had played random team battle in 5, I would have kept getting Steve and would have kept getting that bug, because I'm too old to learn not to double tap, probably. I don't know where I picked that habit up. Must have been in KOF, or I don't know. I mean, it's not any game's fault. It's my stupid fault. I can't blame it on anything else. Okay. This is it. Come on, Jin. Yeah. We're even on Jin's stage, so... Oh, yeah. Wait, how did I get messed up? Yeah, take that, Steam Bat. Oh, you're so dead. Oh, no. Oh, well. Got him anyway. Well, that was a little close. Anyway, I don't know. I don't even remember how many interrupting myself layers I was in there, but let's get back to talking about the volume situation. So, even though classic sound engineering apparently says you want to master your recordings so they're 10 decibels lower than maximum volume, so my Xiaoyu got croaked. All did well. The others here did okay. Except for King. King did not do well. Because I was not paying attention. And there Brian was roasting me. Their King didn't do well either. Kind of like this music. See, there's Violet. It still says Violet. Once you clear his story battle, it changes to his normal white-haired portrait, and it says Lee. And that's just a random. But the other 3 here are Combot. I think maybe in the lower right. I think the Kuma and Panda are in the upper left here, and Heihachi, I think, is maybe that lower left one. But we're just going to do more randos. So, so minus 10, or some other sources say it might be as high as minus 6, or as low as minus 12 decibels for your peak volume that you want in a recording. So, actually, okay, Marduk, this is his first appearance, and look how skinny he is if you're used to him in 5 or 7 for sure. Jeez, that is a silly looking jump kick. Ow! But they wanted him to be more of a ground and pound grappler style, so he's not just a huge crusher like he is in where I first encountered him, which was 5 Dark Resurrection. You actually need to be able to do certain attack sequences and certain follow-ups and things that I don't know how to do with him to get maximum damage out of him. If you're just trying to play him as a big bruiser, it's hard, and it's still kind of hard in 5. So, since I'm not playing 5 Dark Resurrection currently, because I was playing it on PS3, but Dark Resurrection ended up just feeling kind of like a watered down. Well, it only has a couple modes. It doesn't have team battle, doesn't have story battle. It does have ghost battle, which is why I got it in the first place. But the graphics are not even as good as the PS2 original Tekken 5, even though they run in 1080p. They're lower detail. They're basically PSP level of detail because it's a port. It's a cut down port of the PSP game Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. So it's kind of a bizarre version. It does have online play, which I think was the first real online play the Tekken series had, the PS3 version of Dark Resurrection, but they really cut down on the other modes, and the graphics were still PSP level, even though they ran at 1080p. So everything kind of looks a little flat, and I don't know, it's kind of depressing after a while. Also, they remade all the stages. I don't remember if they did that they must have done that for the PSP version. All the stages got remade, and they aren't as good. For the most part, they aren't as good as the original Tekken 5 stages. They're just much less inspired. They kind of took the same areas and either made them to, if they were night stages, they made them day, or most of them were day stages, so they made them night, so they're all darker and gloomier. Or wait, was it the other? I think, no, in 5 they're bright day stages. There's all kinds of cool colors and stuff. Then in 5, or in Dark Resurrection, there are these boring night things. Except for a few that were night stages in 5, then they made them day stages, and they like just... Yeah, Hwoarang's face looks so much better in this one than in 5 and 6. Anyway, they screwed the stages all up in Dark Resurrection. In the PS3 version, I don't know about the PSP version, you can unlock the original versions of the stages, but in Ghost Battle, which is the mode I wanted, you don't start seeing the old versions of the stages, the good old versions, until you've played through, I think, 9 stages of the old stages. See, oh, you can break those pillars. Oh no, unblockable, and I just stood there and screamed. And if you quit out, say to go spend some of the money you've been earning to customize your character, then that count starts over, so you still have to go do another 9 stages uninterrupted, another 9 fights, another 9 wins, probably, to, okay, let's see, before I die, which I'm going to do quickly here, at this rate. Gosh, he has so many moves and so many throws. It's so... How do people really learn how to do all of King's throws and have them at their fingertips? I can't imagine. It's so insane. I mean, sure, even if somebody just played King, you know, as the only character they played, could you... It's so many... It's ridiculous. Anyway... I'm trying to find if there's some kind of half circular plus left punch. I don't remember the name. I don't remember what a half circle motion might look like. Would it just be a bunch of the individual directions in a row? Yeah, I guess it would be kind of like that. Oh, in fact, oh, that's right. It's not just a half circle, so it's forward. So yeah, giant swing. Actually, isn't that the same name as... It's something like that for Wolf Hawkfield and Tekken and Virtua Fighter. Anyway, okay, so Hawks, or Wolf Hawkfield's, I named my Wolf Hawkfield character Hawk Wolffield, which just confuses me now. I'm so bad with names, I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, so his is just a half circle forward. This is, you have to do forward, then half circle forward, so it's a little more complicated, but actually it's a pretty generous buffer, at least in 5. So if you were moving forward and then you do a half circle, it's fine. So I cleaned up with that move in 5. Let's see if I can even get it off before I die here in 4. And unusually, you only have to hit one button, and it's a throw. See these other throws, I guess that one only takes one button, but I hate that kind of input. The down diagonal, and then, yeah, this one, it's only one button, whereas most throws are, like this one, 2 buttons. And I don't know how they manage. I mean, King players must have been. A lot of his throws must have changed their input because there's no left punch, left kick throws in Tekken 4. They got replaced by the silly shove moves. So King must have had a ton of his inputs changed for all the left-hand throws. If you're a King player, you're probably tearing your hair out. Anyway, let's just try to get this one single button throw. They didn't change this one on me. Thank goodness. Come on. Get me out of here. No. Okay, just hit start. There we go, yeah! Oh, didn't quite get him. I'm not sure where Giant Swing rates in terms of how much, damage compared to his other throws. In Virtua Fighter, it's one of the most damaging throws possible. Alright, well, back to my super enchanting volume story.
Fight.
So, sound engineering, blah, 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 minus 10 decibels, peak volume setting. That's what the pros apparently do. I don't know. But that's fine and all, and that's what I set my stuff up for. Problem is, that's for television and radio, who knows what. For YouTube, it's probably safe to say that 99% or so of the videos on YouTube are not professionally sound engineered. I mean, mine sure aren't. And people just kind of default to recording at the highest volume possible. So, if you're putting up minus 10 decibel peak sound videos and everybody else is putting up maximum volume videos, your stuff is going to sound 10 decibels quieter than everybody else's, which is fine, except you're requiring your viewers to adjust their volume if they want to be able to hear things at the right level, if they've been listening to other YouTube stuff. And, and you can complain all you want about, people shouldn't be recording their stuff at maximum volume, blah, 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 but,
Here we go.
well, they do. So, and you're not going to change people doing that. It would only change if YouTube actually instituted normalization of sound levels for all the videos that get uploaded, which apparently they've done for music videos. If you upload an actual music video and categorize it as such or whatever it is. Okay, I really don't know how to use Christie, but that down forward little shoulder to the, or elbow to the face was working good. Oh, he blocked it. I have an easier time with her in 5, and then easier still in 6. So anyhow, people are, and I've suspected this for a while, are just going to find that your videos are too quiet, they can't hear you, and they're just going to go elsewhere. And I fortunately had a viewer today mention to me that the audio was really quiet, and I've also been gradually, stealthily lowering the game volume, because what I'd been shooting for before with the game volume, so minus 10 decibels was my microphone. Well, it was my microphone and game volume, but in order to, man, Brian again is wasting me. Horrible jacket he's got. Oh, not Christie's beautiful face. I had sort of worked out just sort of arbitrarily, or what sounded good to me at the time, a sort of minus, like I was setting the games to be about 14 decibels quieter than my microphone, just so that you could hear me, and you could still hear the game pretty well, but it wouldn't totally stomp over my voice. But then I started to find it's still a little hard to hear what I'm saying sometimes if there's like loud punches going on right as I'm saying stuff. So I gradually started to lower the volume by about 2 decibels at a time for every individual game until I got it to a point where I could hear it. And I was using my my cell phone as sort of my yardstick. Like if I could play it on my cell phone and hear my voice clearly over, punches and kicks going on, then that was all right. If the punches and kicks were too quiet, then I would have to set it back up by 2 decibels. If the punches and kicks were drowning out my commentary a little bit, oh no, then I would lower it by another 2 decibels and try that next time I played that game. But I had set my goal for about 14 decibels lower than the commentary, but I was listening to other YouTubers playing games and talking, and it was really from listening to my own videos, though, where I still found myself having a hard time hearing myself, and I know what I'm saying, generally speaking. I still found sometimes it was hard to hear, so I gradually started adjusting downward as I was playing various games. And what I found was that I reached generally about 20 decibels below, 18 or 20, sometimes 22. It's actually more for some of the Dreamcast games, especially. I think right now I've got Capcom vs. SNK 2 at 26 decibels lower. It's not necessarily the peak volume in that game. It's just like all the sound in that game is pretty high, and it has the overall effect, especially like music, has the overall effect of sounding very loud and drowning out commentary. It's not that the peaks are particularly large, it's just that all of the sound is fairly high. Man, I'm having trouble fighting against and fighting with Lei. And that was with Kazuya. I'm in trouble. Or I should have done better. So I've gradually adjusted the game volume down to about 20 decibels below the microphone volume. But with my microphone volume fixed at, peak level 10 decibels below. Oh yeah. Oh shoot. Below max volume. That meant game sound was even, 30 decibels down from max and so forth. So anyway, I was wondering if it was too quiet, and so I lost that battle. Well, I'm telling my exciting sound story, so it's my excuse. Oh, that time I did really well with King. I got beat by Lei in the end. Who did I do bad? Oh, Marduk. Yeah. I'm really confused what to do with Marduk in this game. I had a really tough time with his story battle. So yeah, I finally had a viewer, and this is a viewer who has been already useful in other comments they've made, and they said, hey, I listened to your latest video. This was a Virtua Fighter 5 video, and I just lowered my Virtua Fighter volume another 2 decibels between that video and the previous VF5 video, because on my cell phone had been slightly too... Oh, see, he goes into a stance? I don't know what to do from that stance. The one thing I liked about Lei in 4, as I did his story battle, is that he does have a... That was bizarre. He does have a fairly reliable launching uppercut with down forward right punch, except... Julia is not even letting me get it off. It's short range. man. Yeah, so I can't try to rely on his uppercut. I gotta figure out what to do with Lei. And here's a Marduk. This is gonna be tough. This is gonna be tough. I think Julia's gonna stomp Marduk as well, and then I'm gonna be in a real hole. Okay, maybe I can do something with Marduk. Oh no, that was not a throw. No. Oh, she's too tiny to throw. Sheesh. Wow. Wow. Oh, I had her against the pillar for a second. Oh, I launched her. I don't think I got a launch with Marduk before. She's doing all these mix-ups. Oh dear, thanks. Oh, I knew it. Almost got her. Jeez. Now I think she gets a little health back. Yeah, she got a lot of health back. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get you this time. Oh, that's forward, right? Yeah, dunk. Oh. Go, Steve, go. Skinny Steve.
You win.
It's like a welterweight or something in this one. So that Virtua Fighter 5 recording was the quietest the game volume I had recorded the game volume at in Virtua Fighter, and this it got to the point for this listener that they had trouble hearing it. They were on a particular sound setup where they kind of struggled to hear the volume level at all, and you know, I mean, that's definitely a problem. You know, if it's too loud on somebody's setup, they can just turn the volume down in just about any situation. But if the sound is too quiet, even if somebody turns their speaker up to, you know, full volume, then there isn't much more they can do. And I've noticed that on my own laptops. I would turn my volume for the video and for my laptop speakers up to 100%, and that would be just about, if there was any kind of background noise going on in my little tiny apartment, which is all hard surfaced and echoey, like my super loud wall heater, then I would still have a hard time hearing my own commentary at maximum volume. So I knew that was definitely a potential problem with my videos, even, you know, set as they were at supposedly the correctly professional peak volume level and all that nonsense. And yeah, it was something this viewer ran into with their sound setup. They just couldn't hear it clearly, and he was like, well, yeah, there isn't much you can do. I mean, you know, they were using earbud headphones, and obviously earbuds are going to be challenged to generate a lot of volume, but a lot of people, you know, I mean, it's a common thing people use to listen to stuff. So you've got to, if you want people to be able to hear your stuff, you gotta have something for them to be able to hear. So so I thought, well, I guess I should try breaking the rules and joining the rest of YouTube and raising the volume. Although the interesting thing is, well, one interesting thing I got out of that is that, yeah, so different headsets, different headphones will have totally different maximum volume levels. For instance, although like this viewer who also has a laptop, you know, I sometimes struggle to hear my own commentary at the previous volume setting. on the laptop's built-in speakers. But then if I plugged in,
Final round.
which of course are pretty tiny, but then if I plugged in my headphones, I would only have to set the volume up to like 20% or something. It would be, plenty loud. But of course, so one thing I wasn't sure about was like, well, is that going to be the same for people with other headphones? I have my headphones are. Oh no, I'm not doing my throw. My headphones are by this. I think they're a Chinese company named One Audio. Yeah, throw them in the water. Yeah. Cool off. Oh no, I just wanted to kick him and he kicked me. Well, he got mad that I got him all wet, I guess. He even looks a little wet. Like his clothes are slightly more glistening. Maybe I'm imagining that. That actually happens in Virtua Fighter 5. So yeah, for instance, these headphones, these One Audio, I forget what the particular model is called, but they're like studio headphones or something. Anyway, they're the $30 ones on Amazon. And they've got like 50 millimeter drivers or whatever they're called, the speakers in the ear cups, which I guess is pretty big. I don't really know what any of that means, but I do know that stuff in these $30 headphones sounds about as good as my own to me, who is not an audiophile. Sounds just as good as far as I can tell as the old $200, what was the brand? It was a Japanese brand, which was nice. They were super comfortable. I can't remember the brand now. This is gonna bother me. Anyway, just as nice as these old $200 luxurious headphones that I had, and they only cost $30. So anyway, the point is though that you will have maximum volume levels varying widely depending on what a person is listening on, and if it's too loud for somebody, they can just turn it down. But if it's too quiet, then they're not going to be able to enjoy your video. So I figured, well, I better try turning it up. Now I'd resisted, not only because it's not what the experts. I'm getting caned in this. I'm getting worse and worse. Not only because it was apparently, supposedly not professional level to crank up your volume in your recording, but also because I don't have a good sound recording area here. I'm just in this tiny apartment, totally hard sound reflective walls and floor and ceiling. I try to set up some softer things, like I have a sheet behind me draped over some cardboard sheets that I fastened together to form a little stand for it. Oh no. Evil law is whooping my law. I have various cardboard boxes flattened and leaning against some of the walls to provide a slightly less reflective surface. But I can't like go and coat the walls in anti-sound reflective, like eggshell style, egg carton style foam, because I think my landlords would not approve of that. Dang it. Almost got him. So I'm kind of stuck in this bad or tricky sound recording area now. Then what really helped me was getting this microphone I'm using currently. It's a Sennheiser E945. Anyway, the point is it's been a while since I had to look up all this headphone stuff. It's Christy. Christy, you have to beat 3 people. And you're not my best character. Okay, there's one down. Good job. It's the difference between a Oh, it's a dynamic microphone. Yeah, what's the other kind called? The snowball I was using before was not a dynamic. It's a... I forget. Anyway, this dynamic microphones don't capture all the sound in the room around them. They have a very focused recording area that's usually right in front and a little bit behind, right behind the microphone, but not so much on the sides, and it doesn't... Dang, it's a Steve. It doesn't extend outward very far, so it doesn't pick up all kinds of background noise, like my refrigerator, all this other stuff that I can't really do anything about. My neighbors. Oof. Okay, well, it's still possible. That was pretty sweet. Keep hitting him.
Hey, did you hurt yourself?
I think he did. He's clumsy. Oh dear. I don't know how to fight Yoshimitsu. He's too weird. He's gonna pogo. Oh, and we're in a tiny stage. Oh no. Oh, see, he pogoed. God. Yeah. Well, you did better than I expected, Christy. But did not overcome that nasty Yoshimitsu. I love how the face on the back of his armor plating looks like it's opening when he bends over. Looks like the jaw opens. So my Steve did pretty well. King, is not paying attention with enough to do anything with. Christy, though. Christy did good. Got crushed by Kazuya. I took out their Paul in one match. Crushed by Julie. It was really Julia taking out Lei. I'm sucking with Lei and Marduk. That is a big problem. That is really the problem we faced here. King, I was just... You have to pay attention with King because he's so different. Look at that Christy, though. I feel pretty good about that. And I took out their Steve in one round. Let's go. Man, I can't do too many more of these. It's super late. It's so addictive, though. Unlike 5, I couldn't do it in 5. The team battles in 5, just something was off. I didn't want to keep playing. I would do one, and then I was like, do I really have to do another? I mean, that was only like a 10-minute recording, and I feel like I'm done. Oh, no. Whereas I hadn't got that feeling in 4 and in Tekken Tag Tournament HD. So I don't know, because I like 5 a lot. Oh, I never finished talking about Dark Resurrection, so you can unlock the old stages, the old versions of the stages in Dark Resurrection, in 5 Dark Resurrection that were in 5. But in the Ghost Battle mode, which I play, you have to win 9 battles in a row before they'll start to show up, and when they do start to show up, they only show up maximum half the time. So half the time you're still fighting on the blecky new stages. And not only are the new stages just almost all underwhelming in terms of their visual design, new versions of the old stages, I should say. Oh, jeez. But that was a sweet jump kick, though. They also gave them new music. And, like, I don't normally notice music so much in video games. It doesn't really jump out to me as something to remark upon. But the music in Tekken 5, and the Tekken games have not been different in that regard, but the music in Tekken 5 is actually really good. I really like that music. I'm shocked, because that doesn't happen to me very much in video games. But I really like the music in Tekken 5, and they, for some reason, decided to give the new versions of the stages that they made for Dark Resurrection new music. And the new music is alright. but it's not Tekken 5's tracks. It's not as good. It's not the same level of amazingness. So yeah, I couldn't keep playing Dark Resurrection because I just couldn't take not having the best versions of the stages playing all the time. So I hadn't realized that 5 has Ghost Battle in it. It's just they didn't call it Ghost Battle yet. They still called it Arcade Battle, bizarrely. And I'm not even sure they thought that through very well, because when you highlight the so-called Arcade Battle option on 5's main menu, it says play the game like the arcade version, or like the version in the arcade or something. But I looked up footage of arcade boards of Tekken 5 being played. I looked this up on YouTube. And some of these videos are obviously not arcade version, but anyway, a couple of them probably were. And they are not a Ghost Battle. It's just a regular fight through to the boss type of thing. So they really had not thought out the name for what would later be called Ghost Battle in Tekken 5. That's why I didn't realize 5 had Ghost Battle, but it does. And it's got character customization. Not as many options. Paul doesn't have a crew cut, but yeah, actually, and in 5, Ghost Battle does not have a bug that got introduced in Dark Resurrection. In Dark Resurrection, in just about every mode in Tekken, you can adjust the difficulty on the fly. In Ghost Battle mode, the difficulty really just affects the rank. Characters all have rank, which means they're better or worse fighting characters. What is Kazuya doing? He's just standing there taking punches to the face. Alright, I'll take a free win. Maybe those glasses were a little too dark. In Dark Resurrection, in Ghost Battle, and in what's called Arcade Battle in 5, the difficulty setting just affects the rank of the next 3 opponents you can pick to fight in the next round. In Dark Resurrection, though, it doesn't even do that. In fact, in Dark Resurrection, the difficulty setting doesn't affect the next opponents you fight until you quit the mode and restart. So actually, I've found a pretty bad bug in both 4 and 5. In 4, it's a bad bug in 5, which with Paul's uppercut and my crippling double tap problem, and where he just can punch again with no delay after an uppercut. And
Final round. Fight.
In 5 Dark Resurrection, where the difficulty setting in Ghost Battle does not work until you quit the mode. Oh gosh, I'm not used to. Stop hitting kick buttons if you can't swing. There, just punch. Take that, sexy Hwoarang. Skinny Steve's got your fixins.
You win.
Down under, baby.
Come on. Final round. Fight.
So anyway, Tekken 5, that's what I'm playing now instead of Dark Resurrection. Mostly because of the stages, also because of that bug in Dark Resurrection's difficulty setting, so you can't, it's just kind of a pain if you want to adjust your difficulty, and that's my excuse. I do miss not having Paul's flat top, though. In fact, I'm getting constantly tempted to reinstall Dark Resurrection just to play Paul's flat top. Or not flat top, crew cut. He looks so hunky in his crew cut. I can't tell you. Go look at my video with Paul's crew cut. It's amazing. Even though it's, there aren't fancy effects and the textures are flattish and don't have as many reflections and things on them as the PS2 version. It's still an amazing crew cut. Dang it, Julia's crushing me today. Oh. Oh. Where's my infinite? Why isn't this Tekken 5? I think I was still interrupted myself and was a couple layers down and talking about various things. Was I done with the audio thing? Probably not quite. Anyway, so I've gone with the YouTube general volume setting of almost maximum volume. And hopefully I haven't blown your ears off, but also hopefully if you had a little trouble with the volume feeling somewhat low before, it'll be more audible now. Dang it, Julia. And, yeah. Oh, right. No, that's not where I was. I was talking about one other reason why I hadn't done it, because my apartment is crummy, blah, blah, for recording. And,
Final round.
I did get, though, this dynamic microphone, the Sennheiser E945, which really cut down on background noise and reflected noise and all kinds of stuff, so that helped a lot. But I had done a test. Dang it, Paul is still strong. Hobo Paul. He's got nice shoes.
You lose.
Nothing like a good workout.
Dang it. I had done some tests with boosting the microphone audio,
Final
and it seemed to me I was starting to hear background noise creeping in. Maybe it was just the mouth noises that come from your mouth on a microphone when you're close to it that I had been creeped out about. I'm trying to do something about those too, and I can tell you about that in a second as well. Hang it, Paul. Okay, this is bad. Paul's gonna bring it all the way back. Maybe I can throw him. Yeah! Okay. Ugh.
You lose.
Saunters. Alright, I'm gonna get you. Oh no. Not very good with Xiaoyu. I have trouble with Xiaoyu in 5. I feel better with her in 6. So I'm going to try just to stick with her in 6. But I'm still not very good with her, and I don't feel confident with her in 6. Her left kick I did okay with in 5. Oh, she throws that out there. Oh, yeah. So I had background noise or some kind of noises creeping in when I tried boosting the microphone volume. Anyway, so I just wanted to keep it at where the pros supposedly said you're supposed to have it and not try to compete with the volume on the rest of YouTube. Wow. So Paul did super well. Steve did well. Brian not holding up our end. I took out their Kazuya in one match with Paul. And there's Steve. I took their Steve out with my Steve. But then their Paul came in and was wrecking house, but I had a huge lead by that point. Okay, one more, only one more, I swear. So I felt that not only was it not quote-unquote professional to raise the volume for YouTube, but I also thought my borderline recording setup would not be able to handle it, and I would start getting background noise and so forth if I tried raising my volume. But after hearing from that viewer today and realizing that, yeah, there sure are people out there with listening setups that just cannot hear your video clearly, even if they want to. Dang it, Kasia. Yeah, take that. Oh, hell. I got some out of him. That was satisfying. Then we traded with him doing a jump kick.
You lose.
So I did experiments today, and I actually also, I'm glad I looked at this too, because it turns out that my recording software, which is the free program called OBS, I totally forget what that even stands for, but pretty handy for recording and streaming, and it's free. And so if you want to do those things, look into it. It's constantly being updated by the author, and it's good stuff. And so at some point, I guess maybe I'd missed it in the patch notes, but he or they added a higher quality option for noise filtering, for filtering out background noise from your audio inputs. So I switched over to that, and oh, that was awesome. I love Violet's outfit. That purple is so cool. You're so hot looking, Violet. But I won't let that stop me. I'm gonna do my weird Yoshimitsu stuff. Yeah. And I ran some tests. Yeah, and I wasn't actually getting background stuff creeping in. I mean, I turned on my wall heater, which is right next to me here. I had Pandora playing on my little Amazon Echo Dot. And none of that got in, so I was like, well, I guess I can maybe get away with boosting the volume. So that's what I'm doing. Hopefully this doesn't sound terrible. And hopefully if you couldn't hear well before, then you can hear better now. Even though if you do have loudspeakers or whatever, loud headphones, you may have to turn them down a little more than you did before. But it should be more or less on par with what most channels on, certainly gaming channels on YouTube do with their sound level, which is crank it up. Yeah. Shoot, just kept jabbing me. That's better animated than it is in 5. Like, my body bounced a little bit when he said, and anyway. The thing I ordered for my microphone is from sweetwater.com, which is a pretty good audio site. Although they're actually so helpful, they will call you after every time you order something from them. They'll just call to follow up and see if you have questions or anything. It's like, this is too much customer service, guys. But I never hear my phone ring anyway, so it's okay. And then they'll email you, follow up with email too, and say, hey, just if there's anything you need, just you can ask us. And I was like, okay, I get it. You're super helpful. It's just what I ordered was just some microphone. You see microphones with the foam dark gray cover over them, the fuzzy foam padding over the part that actually records the noise. I didn't have one of those on my microphone. I thought it might, like, maybe it would make weird bristly sounds if my lips brushed against it or something, or would muffle the sound, or I don't know. I thought I could get away with not having that kind of stuff, but I was watching, what was it, videos by, well, his channel is called Action Button. It's Tim Rogers, does these ridiculously in-depth game reviews, which are, just kind of, I just have those on as background audio, and it's nice to hear somebody talking more or less intelligently about video games.
Final round. Fight.
And he actually apologized for his first of these huge reviews, saying he's sorry for the bad audio, and what he meant was that he had ordered a microphone cover for his new mic setup, but it hadn't come like it was supposed to have come. So he was recording without a microphone windscreen, is what Sweetwater called them. And I was thinking, yeah, I guess I can hear his breath coming out when he says keys and stuff like that, and it's kind of what I hear from myself, so if a windscreen really will help those that much. Look at their dress blowing in the breeze. What a detail. Bye. Okay, now Paul's here. Now you're in trouble. So I ordered some of those. They didn't. There doesn't seem to be custom ones that made specifically for this microphone, but it is just it's just a stage mic like you would see performers using on a stage. Just a sort of rod-shaped, handle with a little ball type thing on the end. And I guess those are all made more or less the same rough dimensions to fit mic stands and stuff. So I guess the mic manufacturers don't bother making custom windscreens for them, since they're all about the same size. There's already generic windscreens out there that will hopefully work just fine, because that's what I ordered. So we'll see how that goes. I was starting to think that, well, if this does muffle the sound a bit, I might have to start boosting the recording volume anyway. And then I might still get some background noise creeping in or whatever. So this was on my mind already, and the fact that I actually had a viewer take the time to write me about it just now really made me think I should do something and at least try experimenting with it. Wow. As you can tell, I don't know people's moves for the most part. I just hit the buttons. And punching Marduk 6 times in a row in the kidney seemed to work. I think he was already dead for most of that, but it was still fun.
Final round.
So you're still hearing my heavy breathing here. Maybe that'll be reduced once I get these windscreens, which probably be another couple days at least. Maybe the windscreen won't work out and you'll just have to keep putting up with the heavy breathing. I don't know. Maybe it'll still come through even with the windscreen. But we'll see.
You lose.
And it would probably, even in the best case scenario, it would still sound like heavy breathing, but hopefully it wouldn't at least get the sort of pop and the puff, the sharp puff of air that comes through. Oh, wow. So that's up, forward, left kick. Oh, no. Not if it doesn't hit, it's not. Then it's just a big goof up. Oh, he's got a pretty good left-right. Ew. Yeah. Up, left kick. Then he goes into that stance, though, like a Karate Kid crane stance, and I don't know what to do from that. That blasted salami called you a weak character in Tekken 4, Lei. You show him.
Final round.
Of course.
Fight.
What's a good character or a bad character for a masher like me is not exactly definitive. In fact, it's pretty much the opposite. Like that, though. I like Lei's long ponytail here. I don't remember it being that long in 5. See, there's that uppercut where I was having so much trouble getting anybody's uppercuts to actually launch people in the air and score, but Lei's is probably the most reliable that I've found if you can actually get it to connect. Because it does feel kind of short range. Wow. Well, Xiaoyu felt it.
You win.
Oh my gosh, I've been playing this game for way longer than I thought. I thought I'd only been here maybe 50 minutes or something. We're at an hour and a half.
Final round.
So yeah, Team Battle in 4 is super addictive. It's just bizarre to me. It's bizarre to me that I couldn't stand it in 5. I couldn't stand Team Battle in 5. Look at the lighting coming through the... in effect coming through the skylights. It's just super well done. Oh, shoot. Oh, wow. Well, I appreciate the ornate throw that he used to kill me there. He could have just jabbed me.
You lose.
Well, thanks for that, King. Okay, I think I can handle this. Oh shoot. Ah, too slow. No, what am I doing? Don't go for big stuff, just take him down. Oh, that was sweet. Oh yeah? Throws, huh? Yeah! I love throwing grapplers with non-grapplers. It just makes me feel good.
You win.
Like, I beat you at your own game, buddy. I'm not even supposed to be good at these. I like this music. Look at that. Lei made a big comeback. Feel good about that. Paul still doing strong man's work. Oh, my Xiaoyu got crushed. Yoshimitsu crushed. So, Brian and Xiaoyu. Well, Xiaoyu lost to Anina. Brian lost to Akazuya. I mean, there's no huge shame in that, but I should probably be doing better there. But yeah, I don't feel confident at all with Xiaoyu in 4. Brian, I forgot what I did with Brian. I actually had huge trouble with Violet, I think. So I'm kind of happy with how that, at least I didn't croak. Well, alright, so I think I'm done boring everybody to tears at my higher recording volume here about my volume tribulations, and the joke will be on me if this just sounds terrible. Which could be the case. I have no idea. I mean, it sounded okay in the quick little tests I did, but who knows. At any rate, thanks for suffering through that, so you had to hear at 9 more decibels that super long account of a moron who doesn't know how decibels work. What am I going to play next? I think... Oh man, it's too late. I can't think. Well, I want to play... I'm trying to think of... Oh, that's too loud. I gotta go hide out somewhere, or hide out in options. I want to play Neo Geo Battle Coliseum. Will I do that next? I'm not sure. What other 2D stuff did I want to do? I want to do more survival mode in Capcom vs. SNK 2. Ooh, was there one more? One more that I was thinking of. Let me look. Maybe not. Oh, yes, there was. Fighting EX Layer. Which I still have characters I haven't even tried in that game. So what should I do next? Maybe I will do Neo Geo Battle Coliseum but I guess it'll be either Battle Coliseum or Capcom vs. SNK 2 Survival Mode or Fighting EX Lair. How about that? One of those three. And, yeah, and hopefully the volume things keeps working, and I'll try not to pull a big switcheroo again in terms of my recording levels, and hopefully this didn't blow too many people's speakers out if you were listening through on a playlist or something. But I try to keep things steady, but I caved in and I've gone with more YouTube standard, max out your volume setting, so that people actually can hear it if they don't have optimal sound setups or, super massive headphones or something. All right, well, I gotta go. So thanks again and good night.